threat to navigation and the environment. There are thousands of such vessels that exist in the Delta and throughout the state, many leaking pollutants into the water. And they're not just misplaced. If you want to take a look, you really have to go out of your way to dump these, similar to washing machines and other things, and vehicles that are abandoned on roads. Currently, the Commission is limited to a cumbersome and costly judicial process that involves the Attorney General's office, with cases requiring nearly 2 years to resolve. This bill recognizes the need to respect the property rights of boat owners. Reasonable efforts will be made to notify the boat owner about the Commission's actions and to allow the owner to reclaim the removed vessels. Many of those suggestions, by the way, were incorporated at the suggestion of this committee in the last session. This bill affords the Commission a more practical and less costly way to address the problem of vessels that are abandoned. I have with me Peter Pelkofer with the State Lands Commission to testify in support. I ask for your aye vote, and thank you for your assistance.
As the Senator said, I'm Peter Pelkofer. I'm a senior counsel with the California State Lands Commission. I am the individual who deals with abandoned vessels for the Commission. Basically the sole individual that does that, and just as an example of the costs and expenses we're trying to eliminate, I spent my morning this morning in the Superior Court in Solano County approximately 4 hours attempting to get rid of about 25 vessels. We've been in litigation on that matter for 18 months at least. So this measure, as far as we're concerned, is a remedy for dealing with cost cutting or cost saving, is in that it'll save a great deal of litigation time, and it still will protect the rights of the owners. And I'll be happy to respond to questions. We have numerous photographs of these things all over, some of which have been furnished you, I believe. We've done extensive reporting, as have the publications, newspapers and stuff, of the problem.
I do have a question. Who are you in litigation with?
In this case, an individual who has managed over the last 15 years to collect up something like 20 vessels, ranging in size from a 70-foot tugboat to two 80-foot barges, so on. And he's found a nice, convenient little bend in a slough called Lindsay Slough in the Delta, and he's parked them there. And he's put a house trailer on one, and he lives on them with a couple of dogs. And he's basically a squatter. All the vessels are on state lands, and we've been attempting by very informal means, by letters, by talking with him, by whatever, to get him to take them out and move them, and we've been unsuccessful. Today, however, the judge did convince him to make some kind of an agreement with us to remove them in the next 3 months, so we hope that'll occur.
Senator Corbett, did you have a question?
Yes, I was just going to say, Senator Woke, thank you for bringing this again. It looks very familiar. And I think I've become familiar with some of these vessels by now, too, as well, seeing some of them along the Sacramento River. And I would be delighted to move the bill and support it again.
Before we do that, let's see if there are any other witnesses in support of the bill. Any witnesses in opposition? Senator Harmon?
Is there any kind of a timeline that the vessel has to be abandoned or left or something? I'm worried about, not worried, thinking about someone that might moor their boat on State Lands Commission property, state property, and for whatever reason they're gone for an hour or a day or something like that and come back and their boat's been seized. So that's why I ask about the timeline.
I understand. Let me assure you, first of all, that I'm the only person doing this, that we only have one vessel, a 21-foot aluminum boat. There's no way I could be out there policing that kind of activity. The bottom line is that it has to have been there like probably months before anyone, the sheriff's departments in the various counties notify us that somebody has left a boat. And in almost all cases, it's very difficult to find an owner who's responsible. There's no one there. We don't go around trying to give traffic tickets or do anything of that nature, Senator.
Senator Harmon, if I could just direct you to page 4 and 5. In fact, this was in front of the Judiciary Committee. These were the exact issues that were raised, appropriately so, and a fairly extensive process of notification was put in here, page 4 and 5. Today we've clarified a little bit more about the 30-day notice, but I think there are good protections in here for that reason.
I know this is a big problem, particularly in the Delta, and frankly, I've got a lot of marinas and areas like that down in my district, and it's also a problem.
As Mr. Pelkofer was saying, I mean, he was in court because he had a person that he could sue, but the fact is, most of these things are just kind of left in the sloughs. I mean, there are thousands of miles of levees and areas, and they're just left with no identification whatsoever.
Senator Leno.
Just wanted to get your response to the governor's veto message of 2009 that should the legislation be as effective as we hope it will be, that there could, and I know this is not the fiscal committee, but nonetheless I'll ask the question, the veto message suggested that even though there could be some savings to the commission in ability to recover court costs and other costs that you cannot recover currently, that there could be the additional expenses that you will incur implementing this great new opportunity. Is there any sense to that? I don't always put a lot of trust in that particular governor's veto messages, but I thought I'd ask.
That's certainly true, Senator, that our efforts, whatever they are limited to what our budget would provide for us. At the moment, the budget provides for me. I'm a retired annuitant, and I'm paid hourly, although I'm still a senior staff counsel. There is no other budget. As I say, we cooperate with the various sheriff's departments in the counties, primarily the Marine patrols, and at this point in time, we're taking on major problems such as this gentleman I was referring to that I was in court on this morning with 20 vessels out there. We dealt with for Yolo County with a vessel here in the Sacramento River, but we don't, we just can't get out there. We don't have the funding. There are some possibilities for funding through the federal EPA, through the state EPA, where vessels are polluting. There's also a possibility of some funding from what used to be the Solid Waste Management Board. I think it's called Cal Recycle now. In cases where they consider it solid waste, they can make some grants from the soda bottles that we don't throw away or whatever. So we're looking at some possibilities, but all those folks say to us, well, you don't have a program. So until we have a program, we're kind of in a catch-22. But we're not seeking any specific funding for this operation at this point.
It was a fairly nonsensical statement then. But can you then, one last question, can the commission recapture the funds that you may be able to save, and through this new process of collection, can you use it for your own augmentation? It comes back to the state.
It goes back to the general fund. The saving is in the sense that, I don't know how familiar you are, but for the Attorney General's costs are allocated to each state agency. Right. And while we don't take them out of our budget and pay them, we have a certain number of hours we're permitted. If we're using it up for this, there are many more things that are more significant that we could use the Attorney General's services for. And so as a result of that, just again, for one example, the vessel that was in the Sacramento River that we managed to remove last year, and you may have a copy of it. It's that big showboat thing. I don't know whether they gave you that or not. That took 700 hours of Attorney General's time and cost $110,000 of our allocation to get it removed. We could have done that probably on my time for a couple $100. So there is a significant savings here in terms of those kinds of things.
Great. Thank you.
All right, Senator Wolk, would you like to close?
I would like to thank the committee for the deliberation and to ask you for an aye vote.
All right, we do have a motion. The clerk will call the roll.
The motion is due pass as amended to Senate Appropriations Committee. Evans?
Aye.
Evans, aye. Harmon? Blakesley? Blakesley, aye. Corbett? Corbett, aye. Leno? Leno, aye.
That bill has 4 votes. We'll leave the roll open for Senator Harmon to add on if he so desires.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members. Thank you.
All right, Senator Corbett, item 17, SB 823.
Good afternoon, members. I will try to abbreviate my statement because I know it's late in the day. I'm here to proudly present SB 823. I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm proud to be a Californian, and I'm very proud of our California products. And this bill would create a Made in California label. The bill is modeled after the California Grown program, which I think many of you are familiar with, which has been very successful in the promotion of California grown produce. In fact, sales of California-grown produce increased by 7% after the start of that marketing campaign, which generated close to $1 billion for California businesses, workers, and our economy. Obviously, if this sort of program can help increase sales in our economy, that's a good thing. We all know that we have a downturn, and this might be a very, very important way to help jumpstart at least a little bit our economy. This is a self-supporting and voluntary marketing program which will promote high-quality products made in California. The bill allows the agency to determine the eligibility standards with a focus on manufacturing within the state as well as having a California-based workforce. I'm going to skip over some of this. While this measure won't answer all of the problems in the state, it's recognition that we can and will continue to make things here in California. And California, as we all know, is a brand name. It's known worldwide, and I think we should use it to promote and support these businesses that grow our economy and employ the people in our communities. I know each and every one of us could probably name a couple of products that we're very proud of that come from our communities. I know you have one, Senator Evans. I have a few as well. So I ask you for support on this measure. The bill is co-sponsored by the California Small Business Association and Small Business California. I have some witnesses here to speak in support.
Great. Witnesses in support of the bill.
I'm Betty Jo Tacoli, and first, I'm a small business owner, and secondly, I represent the California Small Business Association. We're a grassroots volunteer organization, and 95% of the time, you'll hear a small business owner speaking from the horse's mouth. This is a really important bill, maybe more in concept than anything, because we believe that it's time for Californians to be proud to be Californians, and that we need to make more efforts to reward Californians for the contributions they make. Last year, we had the legislature pass Buy California Small Business First, and that was a real motivator for the small business community that the legislature would speak so highly. We believe this bill, SB 823, will even raise the level by doing more to promote California-made businesses and products. And we want to send the message that California is a good place to do business, that we're loyal to our residents, and that we also need to build the California workforce. So I'm asking you to support with an aye vote for SB 823 on behalf of the small business community. Thank you.
Good afternoon, members. Lori Kammerer, Small Business California, also co-sponsoring the bill and also supporting the bill on behalf of the Coalition of Small and Disabled Veteran Businesses. Collectively, we represent about 20,000 small businesses, mom and pop shops. Made in California, we think it's a very, very good idea. We appreciate the amendments that will be, as we've been talking, on this bill, and we are very, very much in support of this bill. We think it's going to really promote small business activity in the United States. Thank you.
Hi, Madam Chair. Members, Bo Biller with Platinum Advisors on behalf of Tesla Motors, who recently acquired about 5.5 million square feet of auto manufacturing facility in Fremont, and we look forward to supporting this measure and ask for your aye vote.
Other witnesses in support of the bill?
Madam Chair and members, Caitlin Vega for the California Labor Federation. We do want to promote creating good jobs in California and keeping jobs in California. We think this bill is a good approach. Thank you.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, Shane Gussman on behalf of the Teamsters and the California Conference of Machinists, supporting jobs here in California.
Good afternoon. Simeon Gant, Service Employees International Union, in support of the legislation.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, Lee Sandall with the International Longshore and Warehouse Union, and we are in support.
Thank you. Any other witnesses in support of the bill? Witnesses in opposition? Questions or comments from the committee members? Ms. Corbett, would you like to close?
Just would like to ask for your aye vote, and all of those of you who would like to mention a wonderful product from your district, feel free to do so. I know I have several. Tesla, one of them. Ghirardelli chocolate is actually made in San Leandro, I want you all to know, in the 10th district. Those red licorice ropes are made in my district. Anyway, I could go on and on. I ask for your aye vote for obvious reasons. Thank you.
I neglected to ask if you would take the amendments that were recommended in the staff analysis.
Absolutely. I'll take those as authors' amendments.
Oh, in the next committee. Excuse me.
Oh, I'd be glad to do that too.
Yeah, thank you. We have a motion as amended. Well, the amendments will actually procedurally be taken in the next committee, but we've committed to those amendments.
Absolutely.
So the motion is to pass the bill.
The motion is due pass to the Senate Rules Committee. Evans?
Aye.
Evans, aye. Harmon? Harmon, no. Blakesley? Blakesley, no. Corbett?
Aye.
Corbett, aye. Leno? Leno, aye.
3-2, the bill is out. All right, we now have the consent calendar. The motion is to move the consent calendar. Clerk will call the roll.
Evans?
Aye.
Evans, aye. Harmon? Aye. Harmon, aye. Blakesley? Blakesley, aye. Corbett? Corbett, aye. Leno? Leno, aye.
Consent calendar is out. Okay, members, we have a few bills with a couple of absent members. Will you call the absent members, please? SB 4, item number 1.
Blakesley? Blakesley, aye.
That bill is out 5-0. Item 5, SB 252.
Evans?
Aye.
Evans, aye. Harmon? Harmon, no. Blakesley? Blakesley, no.
That bill is out 3-2. Item 6, SB 264.
Harmon? Harmon, aye. Blakesley? Blakesley, aye.
That bill is out 5-0. Item 7, SB 332.
Blakesley? Blakesley, no.
The bill is out 4-1. Item 11, SB 559.
Harmon? No. Harmon, no. Blakesley? No. Blakesley, no. Corbett?
Item 11.
Corbett, aye.
That bill is out 3-2. Item 13, SB 242.
Harmon? Aye. Harmon, aye. Blakesley?
Aye.
Blakesley, aye.
That bill is out 5-0. Item 16, SB 712.
Blakesley? Aye. Blakesley, aye.
That bill is out 5-0. All right, I think that, oh, sorry, I wanted to introduce our new staff member, Ronak Delami, and we're very happy to have her as counsel on the Judiciary Committee. Welcome. All right, that concludes our business for today, so we are adjourned.